ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Graps and Scraps episode 8. It's been a long 2 weeks. We got some stuff to discuss. If you guys forgot, I'm Alavito Nate Rivers, joined by my usual co-host.
It's me, the GOAT.
Go Gianni. And of course, we got another guest. We had a guest back on episode 4 with the Pro Wrestling Legacy General Manager, Julian Dream. Now we got the Million Dollar Voice, the hottest free agent in pro wrestling, son of Scorpio.
How's it going? It's the Duke of D-Town, the Million Dollar Voice S.O.S, the hottest free agent in professional wrestling, and your girl's favorite luchador. And I'll tell you that for free, baby. I'm so glad to be a part of this podcast here today, episode 8. Let's get to it.
Like I said, we talk all the recent wrestling and MMA stuff. SOS takes inspiration from many of the great wrestlers from his time growing up, from his time currently, and of course some of the great MMA fighters like Conor McGregor. SOS, you want to tell us a little about your experience with pro wrestling and MMA?
Oh, man, I love both sports very much. Obviously, I grew up a pro wrestling fan simply because my dad, he was a pro wrestler. My grandpa was a pro wrestler. Other side of the border, Juarez. Yeah, so, and, growing up, I watched the Idol of El Paso, which, fun fact, is a good friend of my dad, well, was a good friend of my dad, Eddie Guerrero. And, I grew up watching him, and I liked his antics. And, once I figured out that wrestling was not just about the sport, it was a lot about how you carry yourself and the mic skills, the promotions, all that stuff. I got into Conor McGregor. That guy was somebody I looked up to. I still look up to him. Unfortunately, his last fight was not the best. But, I feel like I take a lot of inspiration from him because the way that he talked on the mic was just something that created something special in the UFC during his peak in the promotion.
Johnny, you got anything you want to ask SOS, man? I know you're low key a mark for everyone in El Paso. So you want to shoot a question, SOS?
First of all, Mark is a big word, but I'll wear it like a badge of honor. One thing I wanted to ask was obviously I would imagine like your dad and your grandpa was obviously an inspiration, but were there anyone else other than like Eddie Guerrero, Conor McGregor? Is there anyone that you based your style off of, the way you present yourself?
Oh, definitely. So one of the biggest inspirations was the original Tiger Mask. I can't ever pronounce his name, so I'm not even gonna say because I'm gonna botch it. But his matches with Dynamite Kid back in the heyday, like in the early mid '80s, those were a lot of those matches inspired me a lot. Um, watching them wrestle the way that they did. He was an innovator. Tiger Mask was an innovator, and he brought his style to the United States, wrestled MSG a couple of times, and the things that he did were just, to this day, I don't see anybody who wrestles the way that he did. So he's definitely a big inspiration. And if we're talking about modern wrestlers, Kenny Omega is probably up there as well. I've been watching him since I was, I'd say, you know, high or probably middle school is when I started watching him. His feud with Okada back in New Japan, holy hell, those matches were incredible. So I'd have to say that those two guys for sure were inspirations to me, and obviously like Rey Mysterio. Everybody loved Rey Mysterio growing up, but those two in particular are probably my biggest inspirations.
SOS, I know you told me too that you take a lot of inspiration from the old school NWA regional days too. You told me you love Dusty Rhodes and everything. You want to elaborate more on who your favorites were back then as well?
Oh, definitely. See, my knowledge in wrestling is, it's a pretty extensive. I mean, I'm from Dallas. We got to talk about the Von Erichs. You can't talk about Dallas pro wrestling without talking about the Von Erichs. So, Kerry, Kevin, David, those guys. I've studied their matches, and those guys weren't really the ones that had mic skills, but I'd still put them up there if we're talking about the territory days. Dusty Rhodes, probably my favorite of that era, simply because the way that he was basically the first people's champion. He was he was the son of a plumber, the guy who he wasn't the most athletic looking, but he still got the job done, and he's still one of the greats. And lastly, obviously, Ric Flair. I think I take a lot of inspiration from Ric Flair, especially with my gimmick. You know, I'm the Million Dollar Voice. He was the Rolex wearing, you know, whatever his thing was. That he inspired me a lot too. You know, that rich boy mentality, money, the money maker. So those guys. And then if we want to go a little bit more deep, I'd say Bruiser Brody. He was a guy that, you know, inspired me in the way of keeping the business serious. You know, that guy, he I don't think I ever saw him break character, and that's something that really I took from him.
Rest in peace, Bruiser Brody, man. I saw some of it, and then I saw the dark side of the ring on him too. So rest in peace, Bruiser Brody, man, for real.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was mad unfortunate. Mad unfortunate.
yeah,
Then
I can't believe it.
of course, SOS. You've been wrestling for a while, right? How long have you been wrestling, man?
So I started around 2020 once I graduated high school, but I took a little bit of a break because I did a little tenor in college wrestling for 3 years, just about 4 years. You know, COVID kind of like messed that up, so I'd say 3 years. Um, and then I came back just last year, so it's kind of like an on and off thing. But I started taking it seriously last year for sure, and uh, you know, picked up where I left off.
It's great to have you back, man. You're thriving, you're profiling, you got your eyes set on the prizes, man. I know, of course, you're out with an injury right now. We still wish you the best in the recovery, of course.
I appreciate that.
Of course, man. With that being said, what are your thoughts on the current local scene, man? What are your thoughts on PWL, Nation Wrestling, Juarez too? What are your thoughts on everything in the local scene?
Man, you see, the local scene is what brought me to El Paso. Like I mentioned, I'm originally from Dallas, but I was very interested in coming to El Paso and Juarez because you got two styles in the same region. So obviously, I'm a luchador, so I started off in Juarez. I did what I could over there, and then PWL just caught my attention, man. Like the guys that train out there, the guys that compete every Friday. It drew me in, and I was like, holy crap, this is where I want to be. You know, like I never saw. Maybe I wasn't in the with the right or in the right environment in Dallas, but the lucha scene, first of all, isn't what it is in Juarez. So that's why I moved over here to train lucha. But the pro wrestling scene is another crazy scene because the people are committed. They aren't guys who just do this part time. Like they really train. You know, a few a few days out of the week and then wrestle say maybe three times out of the during the weekend, and they're committed. They don't just want to be local wrestlers, they want to put El Paso on the map. And that's why I respected El Paso's local scene because of all the guys that I've ever met here. They're not just, you know, half-assing it. They're fully committed, and that's what I like. I like people who are committed to this and who really want us to thrive, and that really motivates me to get better as well.
That's what you don't see in wrestling nowadays, man. You don't see a lot of people who truly have a passion for it and love to actually grind their way through the indies and work their way up because we're in El Paso we're overlooked, man. I'm a commentator, of course. We all know this. You've commentated with me for SOS. We all know this. We're overlooked. We're always put on the back burner, especially talking Texas. Now PWL is growing to become something bigger. It's beautiful.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. I'm glad I get to see that firsthand.
Before we get into the meat and bones of this podcast, Gianni, you got anything else you want to ask SOS?
The one thing I always like to, cause there's like newer guys, and they're more like ambitious and stuff. They're like, oh, I want everything. I was thinking because you are, I would say, a more seasoned person now. The fact that you've been wrestling for a little while. Uh, any goals? Any places you want to wrestle? Anything you want to accomplish?
Oh man, you know, like I said, I've been I don't think there's a moment in my life where I didn't know what professional wrestling was. And I've always, even when I was younger, I always thought that being a professional wrestler was a part of being an adult male just because my dad did it. And I thought that everyone did it, up until a point. And so I always envisioned myself on TV. I always envisioned myself winning a world championship. And, I don't really like to put my goals out there because, not, a lot of people, they say they want to do something, but they don't want to go through the trenches. But I mean, I feel like I've told a lot of people this. I just don't make it public, like on my social medias, because I just think it's, I'm not, I'm not all bark no bite. I'd rather show you my work ethic, but for sure, I want to be world champ one day. That's the number one goal. I want to show that I am the best wrestler in not just El Paso and not just the United States, but the world. And I'm far from that right now, obviously. But one day I want to be able to hold that world championship and wrestle for a promotion like WWE, TNA, AEW, CMLL, New Japan. Like my dream is to be able to travel the world doing what I love, which is professional wrestling. And I'm gonna work for that goal you know until I know my body doesn't let me anymore.
Hell yeah, man. That's a goal if I've ever heard it. If,
What we
Yeah.
love to hear, man.
Yes. Yes, sir.
All right. Well, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I think that wraps up the, I guess, interview portion of this. You guys ready to get into the meat and bones of this podcast, talk about wrestling and UFC?
Yes, sir.
yep, this is
All
where
right.
we're probably gonna fight each other.
Yeah,
Oh
definitely.
man.
So Gianni, I always give you the baton. What do you want to start with? You want to start with UFC? Or you want to start with wrestling?
I think there's more exciting things on the wrestling side right now. So let's talk about wrestling right now. What's spicy right now?
All right then. Well, the first question I got to ask, because we all know my opinion on it already. We know Gianni's opinion on it. SOS. What are your thoughts on the Bloodline?
Man, they just don't stop producing them, do they? It's it is what it is, I guess. Like I'm not a huge fan of it, but I respect what they do. But it's crazy that that family just has so much talent, and it's like, holy crap, when are they gonna stop?
Yeah, it seems like they're gonna be here forever, man. They're gonna be here till we're all gone, and when they're just gonna continue and continue and continue.
Yeah, the biggest wrestling dynasty, dude.
Oh, definitely.
But with that being said, like I said, we all know my thoughts on the Bloodline. I absolutely hate them, but I will say they have been doing one good thing so far. We saw it on Raw this past week when Solo he spiked Roman Reigns. He finally getting himself away from Roman Reigns and everything. He's on the good side. He's not joining them again,
Bro, we have Solo Sokoa becoming the protagonist is crazy.
which is actually pretty dope. If you noticed before WWE like nerfed him, he was really good on the Indies. He actually had a bag and was actually wrestling pretty good too.
Yeah. What's the Fatu? The one that used to wrestle barefoot?
Jacob?
What was Umaga? It was Umaga. Currently,
No,
it's
no,
Jacob
Jacob.
Fatu.
Yeah, yeah, Jacob.
Jacob Fatu.
That dude in the Indies, holy hell, that guy was so agile. But I mean, I'm guessing now that you're in a bigger promotion, you don't want to do all those crazy moves.
Yeah, I will say out of every single Fatu or NOI they have lurking in WWE or wherever else in the world, Jacob's the one I feel like I gravitate towards the most because I goddamn hate Jey Uso, bro.
We all do.
Yeah, like I don't even care. I don't even care about Jimmy Uso anymore. He's just there. Zilla is new, so we can't really
Oh,
have an opinion.
shout out to the boy Zilla, man. I know a couple of guys that know Zilla personally. I never met him, but his cameraman. Shout out to my boy Roman, the Daily Ooze. That guy, he does all Zilla's edits. So, just a little shout out to him if he listens to this when it comes out.
Oh hell yeah, hell yeah. So hey, look at that. SOS knows Zilla Fatu's cameraman.
Hey man, more exposure we get, the better.
Yeah, I guess yeah. But
Well,
no,
Speaking
we
Zilla,
speaking
Zilla's cool.
yeah, speaking of Zilla Fatu, It's at Heat Wave where they're gonna do that Fatal 4-Way, right?
I pray to God they don't give him the title right away, man. You built up Grayson Waller as his beast again on NXT, and just to give it to Zilla, man,
I doubt they will. I doubt it.
really hope not, man.
Yeah, unless they're gonna do the whole Vince McMahon thing where he just gets a Samoan and gives him everything.
Eh,
Uh,
But I feel like Triple H is more fair, right?
yeah, probably, yeah. Like I said, my pick for that match is Grayson Waller. Grayson Waller, he came out, he cut a pipe bomb on the NXT roster. You kind of pretty much called them all out. You got to give it to Grayson Waller, man.
Yeah, it kind of sucks though, cause it's kind of sad how Cruz Montana is the one who everyone is just like, he's just kind of there.
Yeah, but that's really what's been happening with TNA talent when they come to WWE. We see with Jordan Grace, now we're seeing with Mike Santana, unfortunately.
Yeah, and speaking of that, that brings to Ilya Dragunov. What would
Oh
you?
yeah, true, true, true.
Yeah,
SOS, you got a take on Ilya Dragunov?
Shoot, honestly, I'm be real. I don't really watch NXT as much as I watch like the main roster, but that's just simply because there's just too much wrestling for me to
Yeah,
watch at
fair
some
enough.
point, you
that's
know.
fair. That's fair. Are you aware that Ilya Dragunov has left WWE?
So, is that his name now, or was it always that?
I'm not
Or
sure actually. Let me look that up.
I think it was always Ilya Dragunov. I think it was always Ilya Dragunov. Even in West Side Extreme Wrestling, his name was Ilya Dragunov.
okay.
No, his name before was Axel Tischer.
No,
Mm,
Oh, that's
bullshit.
Wolf. My bad. My
Yeah,
bad. That's who he was trained by. My bad. No, it's just Ilya Dragunov the entire time.
okay.
yeah,
Sounds familiar. I gotta.
yeah. He had like a really good match against Gunther or Walter as we called him back in like the COVID era.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah. What? He
and he
got
was in it.
released, or what happened?
I
Yeah, his contract expired.
Ah.
Yeah, yeah, which is a bummer because he's my favorite wrestler in the world right now, and it just sucks that they gave him like he had fire matches against Carmelo Hayes, Tommaso Ciampa, Johnny Gargano,
Oh
Gunther,
man.
like a bunch of like hard hitters, and he he was only champion once, right, Nate?
Yeah, it was just the once, and he lost it to Carmelo Hayes, then disappeared.
Yeah, God, that sucks. The fact that like I was legit thinking Sam because it was he beat Sammy for that title, right?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, and I was so thinking Sammy was gonna win, but now newcomer Ilya comes in, whoops his ass.
Damn.
It
I think I
just
know who you're talking about. He's the guy with the beard or whatever?
He had a beard. Yeah,
yeah, like blonde hair, wears suits, always like busts his face open just to make moves sell better.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think I know who you're talking. He's he was a heavy hitter. I remember watching his stuff, but I don't know. I don't know why they didn't re-sign him. Like that guy looked like he had some potential. I thought he
uh,
was gonna. I thought he was gonna stay for a while.
Yeah,
he hasn't done anything creatively, man. He was such a great wrestler, man. They just didn't book him after a while, so I guess they just decided to just get rid of him for at that point.
yeah, which
Fair.
sucks because I feel like he's not gonna be the last one, because
Yeah.
even with Jordan Grace, she ain't doing shit. Who else ain't doing anything? Joe Hendry.
Joe Hendry, I think just kind of it was kind of an exhaustion thing because they kind of shoved him down our throats a little bit to get the entertainment factor, and it's kind of yeah, it's a little exhaustion thing with him.
And I'm just kind of tired of Joe Hendry because it feels like the Vince McMahon era again. It feels just like that with him in the Danhausen. I believe that you are cursed.
God, let's never talk about that again.
I wanted to punch my TV. I wanted to punch my TV.
That was terrible. Let's never talk about that again.
Yeah, horrible. Mm-mm.
But, back to the Dragon real quick. I said it on my TikTok earlier. P1 Sports 8 on TikTok hit me up. Football, basketball, wrestling, and UFC
Nice
did say
plug.
that I do think Ilya Dragunov would be fantastic in AEW. I don't think it's the perfect time for him right now, just because AEW's roster is in such a good spot and it's so bloated that Ilya Dragunov well, probably wouldn't do much in AEW as of right now.
Man, AEW is oozing with talent right now. It's insane. I don't know. I don't even know how they keep up with everybody because they got so many people and just man, it's insane. It really is.
Yeah, and
That's
and even they have like some like sleepers in there that like I keep forgetting they're even in AEW. Like Dynamite Kid's son is in there.
oh
Yeah,
yeah, that's right. He did get signed. Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, and he's
yeah,
awesome. He's awesome.
yeah.
So
That there's a lot. Yeah,
yeah, I feel like Ring of Honor and AEW always has like that one person you can like gravitate towards. Where like my guy there is Takeshita. That's my guy. And I know yours, Nate, is Kyle Fletcher. You fuck
Of course, Kyle
you gotta
Fletcher,
get him on there.
Bandito, Speedball. I got a good three.
yeah.
Yeah.
There's so many good talented wrestlers there, but what? So like, is Ring of Honor? Because I feel like I see guys that wrestle in AEW wrestle in Ring of Honor. So like, what the hell is that all about? What?
So consider Ring of Honor kind of like AEW's NXT because Tony Khan bought Ring of Honor, so
Yeah.
he kind of uses it as like a second brand, sort of. If that makes sense.
Mm, but why do we get some people that that like some veterans in NXT? That's what I don't get. Like Leo Rush wrestles in Ring of Honor and he wrestles in on the main roster, or like how does that work?
It is more like a second brand because he does use some from AEW and some from non AEW
Okay,
talent in there too. So it is more like a second brand.
all right, all right.
Yeah, I would say like guys like Leo Rush or like even Athena because she's the champion there. I guess it's more just like because they're champions, they like have to show up on Ring of Honor. But
They do.
on like AEW, it just seems like a one and done kind of thing almost, where they'll just bring in Leo Rush for just a little cameo or just to be in a match, win, leave.
Okay,
Yeah,
all
like
right.
I mean, it is kind of like NXT, where like with Grayson Waller, where he's kind of like where he just moved down. I guess Ring of Honor is where they can get someone like doesn't Kyle Fletcher occasionally wrestle on there?
Yeah, Kyle Fletcher just goes wherever he wants, does what he wants. He's gonna be in an indie promotion I love in a couple weeks too. He's gonna be in House of Glory taking on Amazing Red.
Oh
Yeah.
man, that's gonna be a banger
Uh,
of a match.
Shout out Amazing Red. Holy shit.
Yeah, dude, Amazing
Yeah,
Red. I didn't know he was still wrestling, dude. I heard he had retired. I didn't know he was still going, but holy crap, dude! Amazing Red has been phenomenal since I guess retiring.
I don't think he's
yeah.
ever has he been retired?
I think he retired like pre-pandemic. I think for like a year, maybe 2 years, if anything. Then came back a couple years ago.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
that guy. They need to give that man his flowers. He really did. He's a pioneer of a lot of the moves that a lot of people use today.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, SOS. Would you say you more watch WWE then?
Uh,
Like what?
I
Like what's
I
your go-to
dabble.
show?
Um. Uh. So the thing with me is like I don't watch WWE every week. Every Monday night or every pay per view. I do watch their WrestleManias. I do watch uh, their things that they have with AAA. But I wouldn't say that I keep up with every storyline simply because I mean I do my own thing. Like I'm focusing on my career at this point, and I mostly watch matches now for to study film. So sometimes if I'm watching WWE, it's probably not even something that happened this year. I'm probably watching something that happened back in like 1995 or hell back in like 2017. You know what I mean? And I watch all types of wrestling though. It's not like a specific. Oh, I'm a WWE guy or I'm a AEW guy. It's more of like I just whatever I think is good is something that I gravitate to because I'm a fan of good wrestling, but I still I still pay attention. I social media, all my social medias. I follow every promotion there is. So I occasionally know what's going on. Like I can name you the champs in WWE and AEW, but like world champs. But if you tell me if you ask me to name you the United States champion right now or the Intercontinental champion, I probably wouldn't be able to give you an answer.
So
True,
so
true student of the game. True student of the game. You love it. See, you love to see it.
yeah, like it's more like you don't have a favorite. Where like, oh, I'm a WWE guy. I'm an AEW guy. You're just a wrestling guy.
Yeah,
You're
definitely, definitely.
Yeah, you're just a wrestling dude. No favorites. Not picky. Just you watch
Yeah,
what like attracts you.
no, definitely. Yeah, I'm a fan of wrestlers themselves per se. I enjoy their work. And like I said, I study them. I got to study the greats. That's what all. You know, get. To be the best, you gotta look at who came before you. And but right now, we're in a good. I will say this: we are in a good era of professional wrestling. There's just so many places you could go wrestle. There's so many places to watch wrestling as a fan, and it's just the sport is in good hands. And my favorite part of it all is that both Mexican brands or promotions, CMLL and AAA, are tied to the rival promotions in the United States. I never thought I would see the day where we got AAA action figures or where we had um, the CMLL World Heavyweight Champion on Dynamite. That's something that I do like about professional wrestling is that it's expanding. Egos are no longer. I mean, they're always going to be there, but the egos aren't as the
Prominent.
way that they used to be. Yeah, prominent. Back in the day, if you told me in 2011 that that we would see Laredo Kid, Dr. Wagner Jr. Um, on Monday Night Raw, I'd be like, "You're insane. You're stupid." But look where we're at now. So that's something that I am a fan of is the fact that professional wrestling is expanding.
One thing I like, although I will say I watch WWE the least, I will say I like how it has something for everything now. If you like lucha libre, watch AAA. If you like to watch more like storylines, watch the main roster like Raw or SmackDown. If you want something new, watch NXT. Like there's
Yeah,
just this style, and there's just I, I just like how inclusive wrestling is getting now, where there's something for everyone.
for sure, and I agree with you on that.
That's the beauty of this sport, man. Well, since you mentioned that, SOS, you want to give us some of your favorite matches of all time, some favorite matches you've studied, some like you ones you've watched as a fan. What are some of your favorite matches of all time?
Oh man, where do I start?
A name your like top five,
If you
All
can't do
right,
five
okay.
threes, okay.
All
or
right,
yeah,
so
three.
I'm gonna go all around. This is gonna be a list. We're gonna end up on damn near every continent by the time I get to my top five. Which, but so I can't do them in order because there's just so many. But I'd have to say one of the biggest ones that I would put up there would be Ric Flair versus Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. I think it was '89 in Chicago for the World Heavyweight Championship. That is the definition of ring psychology. Like those two guys, it wasn't just a spot fest. Well, first of all, it was the '80s. There was no such thing as a spot fest. Ric Flair knew what he was doing, and he knew how to get the crowd to, hate him. And Ricky, he just knew how to play the part of a babyface. So that's gonna be up there. Uh, we all knew this was gonna come in the conversation. Rey Mysterio, Eddie Guerrero, Halloween Havoc. Like
Halloween Havoc, nice.
that is that's got to be yeah. That's the moves that they performed during that match was something that no one ever saw in the '90s. Like these guys were were doing things that were was only seen in probably Mexico at the time, and to be broadcasted worldwide or nationwide. I don't know how big WCW was at that time, but and for it to be two guys who weren't even I don't even think that was the semi. Like I don't even think that was the co-main.
I
That
think it
was
was one of the
probably
openers.
yeah, and those guys freaking killed it. All right, so that's my second one that I'd have
But,
to say.
real quick on that one, when people ask me what's the match I show people to get them into wrestling, that's the one I go to. It's just
Oh,
so good from all around,
definitely,
dude.
definitely. I'd have to put any Tiger Mask versus Dynamite Kid match up there. Like any match that those two had, holy hell, you were gonna see something special, and so that the like they wrestled so many times that I wouldn't be able to tell you the exact one that I watched, but we'll put that one up there. Um, Kazuchika Okada versus Kenny Omega, Wrestle Kingdom, like that. Um, Again, I can't tell you the specific one that I watched, but just that rivalry in general was something crazy. Like those guys, they they're the reason that for a moment the most prestigious world title in professional wrestling was the IWGP Heavyweight Championship. I remember I don't know how long you guys have been fans, but there was a time where New Japan was running it. Like they were, WWE had their little down years. They had Alberto Del Rio as champ. They had Jack Swagger as champ. So New Japan really took advantage of that, and those matches they put on some bangers. And then lastly, I'd say Atlantis versus El Villano Tercero for the masks. Oh my God, that is the definition of a mask versus mask match. If you want to see a mask versus mask match, I would tell you that's the one to see because they put it all on the line, and it's something that not many fans really know about. But those two guys, first of all, some of the biggest legends in Mexico, and they to have a match like that, full of storytelling, is again just something that I admired a lot.
I gotta say that's actually a really really good list of favorite matches.
That is very good. Uh, uh, real quick, so we can like match each other. Real quickly, Nate, what's your top three?
Oh god damn, you gotta put me on the spot. If we're talking favorites, um, I hold a special place in my heart for NXT Black and Gold. The whole 2017 2019 era of Black and Gold is probably one of my favorite eras of professional wrestling. So for that reason, I gotta put Johnny Gargano and Aleister Black. I love that
Ooh,
match to death.
that's a
Nice,
good one.
nice, solid.
Um, this one's a little more biased just because he is my favorite wrestler of all time. The reason I got into wrestling. It's a little bit of a wild card choice. Jeff Hardy and Umaga, One Night Stand 2008, the Falls Count Anywhere match.
Yeah,
Dang.
what real as hell, real as hell.
When Jeff Hardy jumped off the trailer, bro, that popped me as a 3-year-old kid, man.
As a 3-year-old,
Dang.
God,
Sorry if that made you feel old, SOS.
Yeah, I was about to say, I was like, damn, you were three when you, wow. Oh, shit.
that is pretty
Uh,
crazy. 3.
I will say for number three, it's either I have a good three options for that. It's either the NXT North American Title ladder match, the first ever one that Adam Cole won, Gargano and Andrade, or Jeff Hardy versus Triple H versus Edge when Jeff Hardy won the title.
You know what? Not bad picks. Yeah, you do love Jeff Hardy. You love him, so
I spent $200 to meet him. Of course I do.
goddamn right. So, my guess, I'll give you mine. Mine are like weirdly specific. So my number one favorite match of all time is Samoa Joe versus AJ Styles versus Christopher Daniels in TNA.
The infamous triple threat. I forgot about that one too.
Yeah, the I miss Chris Daniels, and then it would probably be the NXT War Games match with Undisputed Era versus Ricochet, the War Raiders, and Pete Dunne.
Oh, the 2018 one, nice.
Yeah, and then my last one, I gotta, I'm gonna go to New Japan, and my favorite one, because I could say easily, Kenny and Okada. I could say like like an old school Kurt Angle match, or I can talk about Ultimo Dragon. I'm gonna deviate. I'm gonna talk about the steel cage match between United Empire and the Bullet Club.
Ooh.
All
Cause,
right.
dude, I have like, there was just so many weapons that I have not seen before ever. Like, I don't know which member of the Bullet Club it was, but he had like Wolverine claws, but they were like forks, and I just thought that was really cool. I think I just like multi-man matches because there's constant action. So I
You
think I
know, just I feel like yeah, you guys put me on the spot as well because there's so many. I know that I'm missing one. Like I know just thinking about it. If I know there's one match that I didn't say, but no, like the ones that you guys mentioned, it's like dang, like I wish I would have said that one.
Yeah, God, bro, it's gonna be killing you later because you can't think of it.
Oh yeah, and then tomorrow and when I'm driving or something, I'll be like, oh, this match, man, I should have said that. But another one I would say is when Eddie won the world championship. That was or the WWE title. That was something
Oh,
too.
versus Brock Lesnar, right? No way up.
Yeah. Oh my God. I mean, I watched that match a lot. It's a little inspiration. And the promo that he did before that match was something crazy as well.
The I am an addict one.
Yeah, that one. That one.
Yeah,
Every time I don't want to go to the gym, I just watch it and you know just for
that is
motivation.
very inspirational. Well, is there anything else on the wrestling side that's interesting, really? Or
Uh, we could talk about the All In main event because that one I know SOS probably has a little bit of opinion on. Kenny Omega and Will Ospreay for the title.
Um, Truth be told, I know the reason that they did it was simply because they want Will Ospreay to win the world title at Wembley, and I mean, if that doesn't happen, then they fumbled that one because Will Ospreay went like that's his Super Bowl. You know what I mean? So I really want Will Ospreay to win, and that's another guy that I love watching. He's oh my god, and now that he's more of the I watched Will Ospreay before he was even a heavyweight like that. I watched him when he was like 180. Doing the things that he did back then. So now that he's putting on muscle and isn't just a mid card wrestler anymore, like it's he needs to win a world title. Well, he already has the the IWGP, but I want him to win a world title out here in the states to solidify it.
Should be a great match too. Honestly, we've AEW's already had a lot of match of the years, but this one has to shoot up there, right?
I would assume so.
Dave Meltzer's gonna absolutely go insane. He's gonna create
Oh
his own.
man, yeah.
It was the Tokyo Dome would be the first 10-star match.
Oh,
It's
definitely.
gonna for sure surpass because I think he got like a 6-star match, right? Will Osprey.
I think so, somewhere around there.
He's
Jeez.
gonna get a 7, dude.
Oh man, that's a match that I'm going to watch. That's one that I'm
Yeah, you have
actually,
to. Yeah, you have
yeah,
to. It's two guys who I would say, like when WWE was butt cheeks, I I I thought those two were like the guys. When the top show, your like childhood favorite show, WWE is bugging. You can see Kenny Omega or Will Ospreay just do some outlandish shit you have never seen before in wrestling, like moves that you wouldn't even think of anyone doing.
I still remember the first time I saw the clip of Osprey landing on his feet off the avalanche Rana from the top rope, and that was amazing. It was nothing I've ever seen before.
yeah. Like I said, those guys they just revamped the definition of a pro wrestler just because and watching them I'm just like dang, if I want to be great I have to do at least half of the shit that they do, you know what I mean? So it's just inspiring, but it's also like holy crap, they raised the bar.
They really did. They really did. They're probably the best wrestlers in the world today.
Well, is there anything else, or you want to move to? more of y'all's thing.
We can, yeah. SOS, you want to talk about your heartbreak from Conor McGregor's last fight, or you want to skip over that?
We can skip over that. We already know he don't know what the hell happened, but I hope there's a comeback. That's all. That's all I want to say.
All right. We can go to the most recent thing. UFC 330 in Philadelphia this past weekend. Islam Makachev defeating Ian Machado Gary.
Sheesh.
I watched back the fight the next day because I was at a concert, so I missed it. It wasn't a great fight, but it wasn't a bad fight. It was thoroughly entertaining. Basic Islam Makachev fight.
Yeah, but I got some takes on it, but I mean I'll let you guys go first if y'all want.
Well,
Jan,
I well, I have an opinion already. I was wrong for the first time, man.
told you, man. Told
I
you.
was I was wrong because ever since we still quote it to this day, the Hamza fight, the Justin Gaethje fight. I kept on saying stop sleeping on the sleepers. I was giving Ian Gary the benefit of the doubt, but first time I was wrong.
Man, Islam's a is a beast, man. He's
Yeah.
somebody that I would never count out.
Yeah, I was just falling that somehow, some way, the shock of the century. But nope, he's too much like the boogeyman, I guess. What about you,
The,
man?
well, like I said, it wasn't the best fight. Wasn't the worst fight. We'll say we are starting to see the code crack a little bit on Islam. If you're bigger than him, it is going to be a little harder for him to hold you down and actually try to wrestle you and finish you. So if you're a little bigger than him, it works. It works in your favor.
Yeah, but you see, one thing that I did notice is that he did struggle a lot more because he was bigger than him. He was significantly bigger than him. He was he had what was I don't remember the reach advantage, but dude was pretty big, and I'm pretty sure he was heavy.
Let me see. Let me get the tail of the tape real quick. Yeah, reach wise, it was a 4 inch reach advantage for Ian Gary.
Yeah, and that's a pretty significant reach, and so he struggled with him in the grappling toward the end of the fight, but it was just enough for him to prevail and to win. But one thing that really pissed me off about Ian Gary is that, and it's been all over the news, he respected him too much. Why did he keep shaking his hand after the fight, fist bumping him like the fight was over? I mean, after each round. Like that's something that bothered me, and that's why he didn't win the fight because he gave him too much respect. Every round, fist pumping him, hugging him. Like, bro, go out there and kill this guy. Not you can hug him afterward.
Dana White called him out for that too after the fight. Dana White said the exact same thing. He should have at least had a killer instinct.
Exactly, and that's the reason. And I don't think that Ian Gary even had any significant shots. I mean, I might be wrong. I might be wrong, but the way that I remember the fight, I don't think I saw a shot that hurt Islam.
He was throwing something that was piecing him up a little bit, but it wasn't anything that knocked him down or hurt him really bad.
Yeah, and like he was just standing there, just standing in front of Islam, and he didn't even like there was no instinct to just beat him. He was just looking at him for the whole fight.
Yeah,
That's
I will say if you're going up against Islam Makhachev, you gotta like up your like killer instinct a little bit, man.
Exactly, and like he did not use that reach to his advantage. He could have been just throwing haymakers from distance and still connect at least twice, but he didn't. And I mean, the leg kicks, I don't even remember. He probably threw a couple, but nothing that made me say, "Oh, he could. One of these leg kicks could land." You know what I mean?
yeah.
What about anything else? Because that was the most disappointing one where I feel ashamed.
I think that's about it for that card because the rest are kind of just whatever. It's all just pretty boring fights. Had some cool finishes, I guess, but nothing else crazy on that card.
Yeah. The guy that I forget his name. the huge underdog, the one that just went through reconstructing his nose, who beat that. They were both like training partners. I
Let me
forgot
see. Let
his
me see.
name. It was the German dude. He fights out of Germany, but he's from like Pennsylvania.
Oh, I know which one you're talking about. It was crap. It was Jeremiah Wells. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, him.
that was a huge upset actually. Well, that you got your upset, Gianni. It wasn't the one you're expecting, but you did get a huge upset.
It was
Well,
like Dustin versus I think that was his name, right? Dustin
Dustin, yeah,
something. Yeah, he because everybody was counting him out before the bell even rung. They were like, yeah, he just had no surgery. He's a veteran, but this guy, he's 13-1, lost a really close fight. They were gassing him up, and then dude knocks him out or whatever. And I'm just like, or I think he tapped him out. I don't remember, but it was a finish,
yeah.
and I was like, damn, yeah, I should have bet money on this, man, a couple $100.
I mean, you bold man. This is someone come from someone who has terrible luck with gambling.
Oh man. Yeah, only time I gambles, well, I don't really gamble, but my opponents, when they step foot in that ring, it's a gamble for them, and I'll tell you that for free.
good lordy lord. God damn.
Yeah.
so,
Anywho.
so we go a little into the fantasy booking side because there is a fight night this week, but it's kind of just it's like the smallest guy versus the biggest guy, so it's a little harder to predict. We'll go on some fantasy booking. SOS. Who do you want to see Connor face in his potential final fight next year?
Connor. Ah, man. Yeah, I wouldn't want to see him fight somebody that's very good because I don't want to see my idol get freaking slept. But maybe the Holloway rematch because that was come on, man.
That I got to admit, I'm not a huge Connor fan, but I was looking forward to the to the Connor and Max fight. So it was a huge disappointment for me, especially I was watching it at work, so that's how much I was looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Um, well, while we're here, who are some other your favorite fighters? SOS. I know you said Connor. Who are some other fighters you love to watch?
Oh man, Justin Gaethje. My God, that guy. I was rooting for him. I hate Ilya, bro. I hate him. He's not. I'm not a
My
fan of that
man.
guy.
My man.
Uh, Justin Gaethje. He's a amazing fighter to watch. The flyweight champ. He earned a new fan.
My
Uh,
guy, bro. Thank you, SOS. Joshua Van. No one else understands. I've
yes.
I've been a Joshua Van fan since before he was even ranked, man.
Hey, and shout out to my Burmese brothers, man. Like, uh, my wrestling team back in high school had a couple of Burmese dudes. So, there's a good amount of Burmese people in Dallas. So, getting to see guys like him, like a Burmese fighter, not just win a title, but defending it in the fashion that he did against that Japanese dude. Hey, man, I want to see a fight. I want to see fights like that all day long. Um,
He's defending soon too. He's taking on Alejandro Pantoja soon.
yeah, those Brazilians, I hate those guys. Not really, but they're just so many of them. But ironically though, Alex Pereira, he's another one. It was unfortunate. I really did want him to be a three division world champ, but he bit off a little bit more than he could chew. So but lastly, Patty Pimblett, Patty the Batty, another guy that not as much as on the mic skills like McGregor, but he's still something. He's
He
still
he, he,
something pretty good.
he just knows how to talk trash enough to get inside their head.
Yeah, and I'm predicting it now. I'm calling it. He's gonna be a world champ soon. He's gonna be world
Oh,
champ for sure.
100%. I think for sure he's either gonna face Charles or Ilya Taporia next. One of those two.
And
And I
and
hope Ilya gets slept again, bro.
I think that it's gonna give fighters confidence to fight Ilya now that they know that he's beatable.
Still,
Yep.
it's still easier said than done.
As everyone thought, oh, he's gonna destroy Justin Gaethje. Nah, Never sleep on
Ah,
the Gaethje.
yeah, I knew it was going to be hard for him to lose at the White House. Like he's got so much pride.
There's
Like
so much patriotism.
yeah, and I I didn't know how he was going to win. I wanted him to win. I
Uh,
didn't expect it though.
then of course we all know if you're listening to this podcast, the five people who do listen to us, I was riding the Ilya train heavily. I was fully expecting Ilya to win. I even told a couple friends to bet on it.
But I was the one who was rooting for Gaethje. I said, "Hey, don't sleep on him, man."
Man, I really wish I would have bet that day, but I don't know. The stakes were a little bit just too high because Ilya is Ilya. At the end of the day, as much as I don't like him, he's a beast.
He
But
is, man.
I did not expect him to quit on the stool like that.
Yeah, eh, Justin's just that much better.
Oh, 100%.
But with that being said, I think we pretty much hit all the heavy hitters. We got a little time to kill. Let's go back to talking about SOS for a little. SOS. Who are some people you want to face when you're fresh off your injury? Whose asses do you want to kick?
Man, anybody who wants to, or anybody that'll prove that I am one of the best wrestlers in professional wrestling. You know what I mean? I want to beat the best. I want to, whoever they say the king of the indies is right now. Hey, SOS got some for you, and it's called melatonin, baby. So, but anybody here in El Paso, I'd have to say, I've had my matches with a couple of guys, but anybody from Classless One, I'm calling them out. Class One, they're trying to recruit me, but I'm out here trying to, I work alone. I'm like Batman. It took him a while to join the Justice League,
Yeah,
but
you're like Batman, but more handsome.
yeah, oh, definitely, and the girls know that. But so I'd have to say Dravok, that guy, he's on my radar.
Bravo
Um,
King.
yeah,
Ooh, hey, what's your opinion on that one?
I got to stay unbiased, man. That's my job as a commentator. I got to stay unbiased.
yeah. But
Hey, hey,
if you wanna
hey,
make money,
that's
you
true.
bet on SOS, baby.
Yep, yep. I will say, fantasy booking. I hear me out. SOS versus Dastan,
Oh, okay,
Ooh, I
that's a
like
good
that. I
one.
like the sound of that.
because
Yeah.
I I think it's safe to say, like, no diss to everyone in PWL, but the Luchadors kind of, they're kind of fire over there.
Oh yeah.
I will say though, SOS versus a Henry Ivan Murphy, the battle of the acronyms might actually go kind of crazy.
Oh yeah. That would all
Battle of
that
the
that
acronyms.
guy. Both uh Chase and
Henry,
Murphy. There's some pretty good talent, man. The money line, I respect them. They're about their money. I'm about my money. Those two guys are really athletic. Hey, and just because I admire them doesn't mean that I'm not scouting them. You know what I mean? I'm looking for weaknesses. I'm looking for you know the advantage for SOS. So just because I admire you, don't mean that I could give you the beats by Dr. Dre any day of the week, baby. So don't mistake my kindness for weakness. Let's just say that. But
that
those
that's why you join me on commentary, man. You're scouting your future competition.
Oh yeah, definitely, yeah. People think it's just because I'm the Million Dollar Voice and I love to commentate. That's one thing, but the other is I'm scouting the prizes, man. And speaking of that, another guy that I have on, I want to call it a hit list because I don't think about none of these guys on a daily basis. I think about making my money, and making my money means getting that championship title off of John Gallo. So if he's still the
Ooh,
champion whenever I'm back, that guy that will really put me on the map. If I beat a guy like John Gallo, that would really put me on the map. So that I think that's a given though. He's the world champ. You always gotta they always got a target on their back. So
Yo,
John Gallo, yeah.
we were literally talking about this, bro.
we were.
We were
What
literally
what y'all
just
say?
talking about SOS versus John Gatto, bro. We just
Dang.
mentioned it before you joined.
Oh, for real? Hell yeah. Hey, it'll be a great match, and like I said, it'll skyrocket my stock, beating somebody like him because he's new to the business too, and that guy, he's been someone that a lot of people have been talking about. He's as much as I don't respect the things that he's been doing lately, power bombing the boss and stuff like that. That's classless, but I mean he's got the belt for a reason, and I do think that would be a match that we will see in the future.
I can say this as someone who saw his rise, man. He's a hell of a talent, man. He went to the limit with his class one member partner Falco, and he was before he broke the hearts of everyone in the border place, including me. But yeah, he's an amazing talent, man. That was something I was kind of fantasy booking a little bit. You versus John Guile for the title.
Oh yeah, and trust me, it will happen. You just gotta let it marinate like some brisket, baby. Brisket on a summer afternoon. You gotta let it marinate. Right now, my focus is getting back in shape, getting my back straight. You know what I mean? Just though that's the main focus. But come whenever I'm cleared, whenever I'm back in action, just know that SOS will be holding the PWL title, whether if it's in 2027, whether if it's 2028. Before he goes big and goes Hollywood, he will hold that championship belt.
I'm waiting to see him, and I know I said I'll stay unbiased, but I'm praying someone finally comes and put class ones in their place, man. They've made my life a living hell since they came
Maybe
in.
maybe we're talking to him, bro. Maybe we're
I
talking to
hope.
him.
Who
Here's hoping,
knows,
man. Here's
man?
hoping.
Who knows? There's, there's a lot of possibilities, and I like it. And there's one thing about me is I'm always thinking about professional wrestling. And you know what's crazy? And I want to say this to 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 you guys. Like every time I picture myself in a wrestling ring, it's PWL. It's the Plex. Like that's where I envision my early days on the Indies. Every time I think about, and it's crazy because I've commentated more than I've wrestled there, but that's the place that I've always wanted to be, especially since that's one of the reasons I moved here. And so I always envision myself wrestling on a heat wave or in one of the pay-per-view events, but it's always in PWL, man.
I've been there for almost 5 years already, man. I started in 2022, so it's an honor to have you, man. It's really great having you in the booth, having you in the ring, having you on the mic. No matter what it is, it's always an honor having you, man.
Oh yeah, and I'm honored to just even to be in the presence of you guys and so many people because you know, there's something special cooking in that up there in this promotion. It's not just one of those half-ass promotions. Like I said before, there's promotions that just they only have events once a month. Uh, Wrestlers that don't really buy in. Uh, that last show that I was at, from the card from top to bottom, just really impressed me, and I was like, it was motivating. It was really motivating.
Really motivating to get you back in there, man. And I'm hoping it's soon, man. Hoping it's soon.
And one thing that I feel like me and Nate can take from you, who's someone who, again, I would say is seasoned in this industry. What's some advice you can give to anyone who wants to be a commentator? And this goes to you, Nate, too, since you are also involved. Anyone who wants to be a commentator, referee, wrestler, or just involved in wrestling. Because me,
I'll,
I've I've been saying this. I want to start training because I was in wrestling in high school too. I was a wrestler for 4 years. I want to do it, but I still need some levels to it. So
I'll let
learning
SOS
how
take the reins on here first. SOS, you give them that information first.
And
yes, and this
it's
goes for everyone. It goes for everyone who wants to follow that journey.
yeah, it's really funny because a lot of people. I mean, you guys say I'm seasoned. I really think that I'm just getting started. I see guys, out there, and I'm like, damn, that's what I want to be like. That's something that I aspire to be. So, some may say I'm seasoned. Some may say that I'm just getting started, and I'd be the one to say it. There's more to come. But I will say this especially since you started in high school. That's a big plus because you get the concept of having to work for something, and everything that you put in is what you get in return. It's not like a sport like soccer or football where You can be the best winger in the world, but if you have a shitty goalkeeper, then you're not going to win that many games. Whereas with wrestling, it's like if you just put your mind into it, if you do the right things, then things are going to just be put in a good position for you. If you eat healthy, if you work out, if you train multiple times a week, then there's gonna be improvement. You know what I mean? Regardless of what anybody thinks or says. And to for somebody that wants to be a commentator, I'll start with that first. If you got to really have a you got to really have a passion for the sport. You're not really gonna thrive if you're not having fun with it. That's the first thing that I would say for somebody who wants to be a commentator.
I'm the best example of that. I've been studying wrestling pretty much since I was a kid. I played all the games and everything. I watched when I was a kid, and I'm the best example of it too. Mauro Ranallo is my favorite commentator of all time. I love Mauro Ranallo. I take a lot from him, from how his passion, from how he presented himself, from how he talked and everything. So I would pass that message on to you. You gotta know what you're talking about. You gotta love this business.
Exactly. You know, you can't just be in it just cause, and this goes for my second point. Whether you're a ref, whether you're a commentator, and especially if you're a wrestler, you can't be in it for the money. I always, I'm the $1 million voice. I'm gonna get my money regardless. You know what I mean? I got ventures outside of wrestling that I focus on when I'm not in the squared circle. But if you're just doing it for the money, then you're not gonna get anywhere with it. At the end of the day, you got to be in it. You got to find that purpose. What is your why? And for me, it's I want to inspire others. I want people to be like, if a guy from, the slums of Dallas was able to do this, why can't I? You know what I mean? Because there was wrestlers like that for me, and being able to take pictures with those kids that see you as a superhero, or have people DM me and be like, "Yo, SOS, you're an inspiration. Could you give me some advice of being a pro wrestler?" And it's like I was once that kid, and um, you it's all this sport's all about giving back to the people, because you can't be a successful wrestler without them, because if no one's buying tickets to any of the shows that you're wrestling at, then you're what the hell are you wrestling for? You know what I mean? And I don't mean that in the sense of if no one's buying tickets to see you, then how are you going to get paid? No, it's you're doing this, to give people an escape from the realities of their world.
Yeah.
Hey, well,
Well, with
hell
that,
yeah.
well, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we went over our usual time just a little bit. Nothing crazy though. It was a great episode. I thought it was a great episode. What do you guys think?
Oh, I
Lovely.
loved it.
Fun.
That being said, ladies and gentlemen, we can officially wrap it up here. Join us again in 2 weeks whenever we drop the next episode. You guys forgot, I'm Alavito Nate Rivers.
And I'm Gianni, joined with, obviously.
The $1 Million Voice S.O.S, baby.
Of course, again, SOS, thank you again for joining us. It was fun great time having you on, man.
Yep.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're out of here.
Stand up! So watch out, you're in the zone now. Watch out, they taking notes now. Watch out, they're trying to